Hello and welcome. Saskia, Devotional Goddess here. Yesterday I had an interesting conversation with a lady. We were talking about spiritual journeys, and she was actually relaying her process in her spiritual journey of clearing out all toxins that are mental, emotional, physical within her body. And it's interesting because she made a reference to a roommate who was now going through brain cancer, I believe, and alluding to them needing surgery. And what I heard was because they weren't doing the work, or at least not the full scope of the work, one aspect of the healing work. And it was very interesting because in the past, if I'm honest with myself, I had that belief too. I was like, well, if you have disease, then you haven't done all your work and there's still more work to be done. Or you've missed something in the work and your work hasn't been as comprehensive as it could have been, because if we did all the work we were supposed to do in being healed people, then we wouldn't have disease. And my healing journey, my healing crisis, my cancer journey was very humbling in that regard, of just like, you know what? This is what's needed to happen at this time. And I had said that to the lady. I was like, look, sometimes having a cancer journey is part of the journey. I said I needed mine to be removed as part of my cancer journey. It needed to be cut out of me in order for me to rid it in my body. And, when I first had my cancer diagnosis, there was a moment of, what? I do so much healing work. There was this astoundment of like, what? I do so much work on myself. How can this be possible? I'm one of the best people I know at self-care. It's not about that. And that's what was a massive learning for me. So and I've been sitting with it more and more recently, of whenever I notice I have a judgment on somebody else, which is part of the human condition. It's not, maybe it will always be there, I don't know, to a certain degree, but it has become softer and it has become quieter. And once I am aware of it, because sometimes it's so subconscious or so part of our thinking that we're not always cognitive fully of it until maybe a little later, and sometimes we're fully present of it, that when I become aware of it and I don't feel so justified to have that belief or that judgment, that I then can turn it around on myself and say, hey, stop pointing fingers, accusations, judgments out to other people. Just work on you. Just put the mirror up and see where it lives within you. Because no one is perfect. I'm not perfect. They're not perfect. Let the judgment go. And it will lighten your load. Because having judgments on others is a heavy energy. It is a lower frequency. But if we are aware of that judgment, and we can lovingly embrace it, and also be able to say, okay, this lives inside of you somewhere. Where can you hold it inside of you lovingly and with grace and with humility. And this is the practice. So the comments that the lady had made didn't actually trigger me. It was more, oh, look at that. Yeah, I used to think that too. So I could understand where she was coming from, especially when we do the healing work, when we are aware that there is a lot of undigested life that we are in the process of digesting and sitting with and releasing. It is work. It is a conscious effort and work that gets put into that journey. And when we're in it, I can speak for myself, when I am in it, when I was in it, in the past, in different chapters of it, there is I don't know if it's pride, but there is an acknowledgement of, oh, well done. You're moving through, because when you've done healing work, when you've looked at your shadow side, and we can all relate to this in some form or other, when we've overcome an obstacle that we once knew to be limiting to us, when we've overcome a limiting belief, a limiting action, a limiting behavior, and we have looked at it head on, seen the wounding, and cognitively worked on healing it to change the programming so that we don't continue that cycle. You should be proud of yourself. You should be able to pause and say, wow, well done. You did well. You walked through the fire. Even if you jumped over it, or if you walked through it, but that rite of passage of overcoming a pattern that no longer serves you is worth pausing and acknowledging and moving on. It's when we become too attached to the work that we have done, and we use it as a barometer and as a leveler to compare ourselves to others, then it's not so beneficial, because we have never walked in the shoes of anybody else, and we do not know what their karmic lessons are in this lifetime. We do not know what they have signed up to learn. And part of my cancer journey was going through the chemo, the radiation, the surgery. And then in tandem, being challenged in my beliefs as a parent, as a woman, and being brought to court for it in order to have their way. All in that same journey, and holding my own, saying no. I'm walking through the fire with this cancer journey. I'm seeing what my lessons are, and being brought to court and being challenged as a woman and being challenged as a mother is all part of the same. And I knew it. I knew it. I knew it was all interconnected. And I was like, okay, I'm going to rise above. I am going to take these lessons. I'm going to see where my codependency lives, where my non-belief in myself lives, where my doubting of who I am and if my word has value lives. And I'm rising up. And that cancer is being cut out of me, and it's not coming back in. And I'm going to continue to rise up and learn and heal, because that was part of my initiation. That was part of what my soul signed up for in this lifetime. And I knew that, and I know that still. And I see glimpses of what it's birthed. So everybody's journey is their journey. If they overcame the difficulty or not, it's irrespective. It's theirs. This is mine. Your journey is your journey. And when you notice that you are passing judgment over another, know that your energy is spilling out, and that by turning it inwards to yourself and holding it lovingly, you become more empowered and you turn your energy inwards and give it a place to go. And this is how we become more empowered. I hope this helps. Much love, many blessings, and until the next time.